Hello there, it is Dream, and today we are doing a quick Nonowill guide. I will go through her rank up, what skills you pick, what to prioritize, what to use your Castilias on, and then we'll of course go through her build as well, which weapons, trinkets, and turrets she likes. And at the end, I will get into the actual skill builds you bring for which playstyle you are trying to use with her. So with all of that said, let's hop right into the rank ups. Alright, let's get in here. Rank 1. For these ones, really doesn't matter which one you pick. Infected Dagger does give you a ranged way to attack and inflict infection. However, it's not at a very high damage. And then Maneuver also could see some use later on in Tower. So for now, I'm just going to leave that one unselected until I need one of them specifically. And then for our rank 3, Enchanting Shadow is an instant skill that gives you dodge and inflicts 30% extra damage vulnerability on all enemies within 2 tiles of you. So we are 100% taking this. This makes her a beast in AoE. But her Phantom Dance is also another instant that gives her move up 2 tiles, and if she is in a threat range while ending her turn, she will teleport back to where she started. So basically she can dive in, do some damage, get some infection stacks up, or get a kill, and then basically just teleport back to safety. So I am using my first Castilia on that. Now rank 5 is a much easier choice, 15% less damage to magic, or 1 energy every time you get hit with an 8% all around damage reduction. A much better skill. We are definitely going with energy recovery there. Alright, and then rank 7 is another one of the hard choice ones, because on the right here we do have a leadership aura for the aggression faction, which is the 10% attack, 20% defense, and this one also has the bonus of 10% skill damage. So this is a very good thing for aggression units. The only thing is that a lot of the current aggression units kind of fall in other people's banners who don't have a better skill to tank in their rank 7. Whereas on the left here, we do have a very good skill where every single time you attack, including multi-attacks, you will inflict 1 stack of infection on the target. And if you hit someone who already has 5 or more stacks of infection, you will inflict them with sleep for 1 turn, effectively making them skip 1 turn while taking all of those infection stack damage. So this is a very good passive, and I definitely probably recommend taking the left one first. I will probably come back in Castilia for this aggression down the line when I have a specific really good use case for it, but right now I'm kind of giving auras to all of my things through other people's auras right now. And then up to rank 9 for our new auto attack. On the left we do have a Dispelling Strike, which is good, but on the right it's a triple hit, and this does go along with the passive we just took, and it will inflict 3 stacks of that infection, so we're definitely leaning into that and taking the triple strike. And up for rank 11. I'm actually pretty disappointed with the attack that she has on her rank 11. The Shapeless Lupin Blade is just something that's on a bunch of SR characters as a non-ultimate. However, over on the left here, we have a really cool aura that she puts on herself, granting regeneration to all of her allies around her, granting them immunity from attribute debuff skills, and actively making everyone else on the enemy team unable to use their active skills if they are within 3 tiles of her. This lasts for 2 turns and cannot be dispelled. So basically it's kind of like a peace aura, and you are basically silencing them from using anything besides their auto attacks. I think this will have some pretty cool use in something like PvP, where you can use a Simona to kind of box a bunch of units in with you, and then basically get right up in their face and make them unable to use any active skills or walk away out of range. And so yeah, this is what I ended up going with for my rank ups on my Nonowill on the main live server. Again, skipping rank 1 until I can make specific use out of one of these, because I don't really see myself using them right now anyway. Rank 3, grabbing both because I want to use them together. The reaction, an easy pick. Infection over the aggression, but aggression I'll probably come back for. Triple slash over dispelling, again, because dispelling is kind of just replaceable by a tarot card. And then for the final one, of course, Celestial Song for that cool aura. Lupin Blade, it is good, but its cooldown is so long, it feels bad coming back for this as an ultimate attack ability. Alright, we are over on the test server now so that I could show you guys a lot of the builds and weapons that I'm talking about visually, since I don't have a lot of them unlocked on my main account yet. But before getting into any of the build stuff, let's talk about her trait. Her trait gives her jump, which allows her to jump up cliffs and over gaps, and she also gains a bonus attack that scales with each level. But also, she gets Veil at the start of some rounds, and this Veil basically gives her a shield that makes her basically almost invulnerable to AoE damage 1 time. This is very strong. It allows her to basically be up in the front lines using something like that aura skill I was talking about, without fear of just getting nuked down from far away AoEs, like a barrel or something like that. It effectively makes her immune to a barrel meteor shower or something like that. And so as you level her up, you will make the cooldown of this veil going back on her lower and lower. So at 3-star, it'll be 2 turns, and then down at 5-star, it'll be every other turn. So you definitely want to try to get her to 3-star as soon as possible. I would say this is a mid to high priority. There are definitely things that that definitely need to be 3 stars to be like super effective. She will still get her veil. It'll just like come back very, very slowly until you get her to 3-star. And so now let's move on over to her weapons. She actually has a lot of different weapons she can make use of. She isn't really like the dive behind, get a kill, like start chaining kills like Cole. She's not really like a straight up just like drag you to me and execute you like a Garcia is. She's more of like a come in, do an AoE finish, or basically set up for someone else to finish. In my opinion, is the way that she's like best played as an attacker. And of course, you can basically just use her for her utility only at range and basically stay safe and give people auras and that kind of thing as well. And so in that case, it doesn't really matter what weapon you're using. But basically, she gets away with being able to use like any of the decent attack weapons, the Void Stab, the Newborn Blade. She's also a good holder of the Ever Burning Blade once you get this ranked up more. And so you're basically guaranteeing the Scorch on people while you're getting them infected. So you're just basically just stacking dots on people with her. So this is very, very good. But I've actually been really, really liking using the Battle Pass dagger on her for the spenders, because it basically just gives her an energy battery. She is healthy most of the time because she's kind of picking when to engage and get out. She's not really like kind of just sitting there brawling with people up at the front. So normally she is healthy, getting a chance at getting this energy recovery. And then if she is low and she does need the help, then the heal is definitely not going to be bad. And then really like I said, she's not really like coming in to do any kind of execution type stuff. So like she will be able to take advantage of the damage here, of course, but I've been really, really liking this. So I think my next BP weapon that I grab is going to be the dagger, and I am probably going to run this as her main weapon until I can get an Ever Burning Blade really, really, really far ranked up. But so far, I have not been able to do that in the live server. And before we get into the trinket, I want to recover one of the passives that we picked during our rank up. This one right here that gives a stack after attacking. This also works on instant attacks that you get from trinkets. And so with that in mind, she likes the trinkets that give her an extra active attack, so that not only can she do more damage with that active attack, but she can also put more stacks of infection on people. So the Roaring Flint is my go-to personally. It is the AoE damage one, so basically you can put it on tons of people in a group if they're all grouped up, which is usually how I'm trying to fight a lot of my enemies when I'm using AoE units like her. And then for single target scenarios, if you're fighting like a boss, or if you only really have to deal with one elite with her, then the Flying Blade Arm Guard can also be used in that scenario. And then also a notable mention for our Disaster Bottle, which is also an AoE active attack that inflicts attribute downs. It does not do any damage, but you can also hope for a good debuff to hit the enemy and basically set up for yourself or one of your allies to finish a group of enemies off. And then of course for her engraving, we are taking Sword Wand. This is the one that basically the more you move, the higher attack and defense you get, 4% per tile up to 12%, and the effect lasts after your attack until the start of the next turn. So that's where that defense part comes in. So you are a little bit tankier every single time you get some movement in. And she is a very, very movement-based character. You are going in, putting vulnerabilities up, getting out, doing AoEs, getting out, all that kind of thing. You are a very in and out kind of character. And of course, onto her Tarot Whisper. We've been talking about a lot of the AoE stuff she does, so of course she loves Dream of the Magician, which gives her a 16%, if you have the unique line all the way built up, 16% increased damage to everything she does, but for each enemy she hits additionally while doing AoEs, it increases the damage by 8% up to an additional 24%. So if you are hitting 4 enemies with her AoE, putting stacks on all of them and getting multi-hits on each of them, you are doing a ton of extra damage by having the Dream of the Magician with the unique line. And of course, you want as many physical attack lines accompanying that as possible. However, if you are not using her as a damage dealer and you're using her more as utility, she is a great holder of our Redemption of the Judgment. This is a tarot that basically takes away buffs from a random unit within 2 tiles of you. This is very, very good for when you're doing like weapon trial bossing or anything like that. Anything that you need to be stripping buffs off of consistently, something like that. She is a very, very good holder of this. And of course, you just want to run it down with as many physical attack lines as you can. All right, so now let's move on to her skills. Of course, we are running that triple slash. We are running the energy recovery reaction. And then for her AoE build, I like to run her innate skill, 1000 Blades. It is a 3-hit multi-attack that does AoE of 2 tiles around herself, dealing a total of 90% damage at the end, but again, it does stack with this passive that we are taking, inflicting 3 stacks of infection along the way. And of course, if you have already hit them with infection last turn, or if you had someone like a Momo pre-hit them with infection before you went, you can put even more stacks of infection on them and put them to sleep, effectively skipping their turn. And of course, to pair with all this AoE damage we are going out, I like Enchanting Shadow. It is her instant skill that gives her a dodge because she is in the center of everyone, while also giving Vulnerability 3 debuff to everything around her in 2 tiles, which is everything that she's going to be hitting with her innate skill in the first place. So everything is taking 30% more damage. Everything is taking all of those stacks of infection. This makes her an absolute beast in AoE. Unfortunately, she is a Seeker, so she's not like doing like tons of insane bursts the way a build-up Destroyer would. However, if the enemies are already low, or if you've already set up for her to come in and get that sleep, she is going to come in and absolutely decimate groups of enemies that have been grouped up like that. And the best part of this is you don't even really have to use this in an AoE scenario, because like I said, we took that triple slash for the basic attack. So if you are running the single target build with like the ever-burning blade and like the arm guard to do only single target burst from your stuff, then you can just use her auto attack. Her auto attack does very decent damage, even in comparison to if you took the left skill for her infected dagger. This only does 70% and inflicts 3 stacks of infection and will get the extra from the passive. Whereas this, with the passive, will just get 3 stacks, but it'll do even more damage and it is still single targets. But of course, you can always actually substitute in like your infected dagger for some range, or if you are very Castilia rich and you went back for that Lupin blade, then you can have like a single target nuke to go along with your spammable single target attack. And then for PvP, you can basically run a lot of different builds for her. It kind of just depends on how she fits into what comp you're using. So you can go with like the innate for the damage, you can go with Enchanting Shadow for the vulnerability on the group, and then you can go for Phantom Dance, so that way she can get in there, get those debuffs and that damage out early, and then get back for your other units to finish them off. Or you can swap this in for like an Anesthetic if you are stacking her with like a Momo, and you're trying to put as many enemies to sleep as you can with the infection stacks. And then of course that skill we talked about earlier, her Aura, if you're using her with like a Simona and you are like locking them in with you, you can basically silence everyone up, lock them in a cage with you, and there's effectively nothing they can do besides wait to die, because they're not going to win the fight when all they can do is basically auto attack you back while you're using all of your skills and heals and basically staying alive inside that little bubble with them. And of course, if she is just being paired alongside a bunch of aggression characters, then she can be used like this. She can be the aura holder, she can go in, get the debuffs, get the AoE off, and then basically just try to survive long enough for you to be able to make use of that aura. And then if you want to go basically pure support on her, you can basically run something like this, where you are using her Phantom Dance to get in there, and then you are using her Enchanting Shadow to inflict vulnerability down, and then you are running your aggression leadership aura for whoever you are using to actually murder the group that you are debuffing. And you basically like, effectively you can go in, do this for free, debuff everyone, buff your team, get back out for free to safety, and then like if you need to, you can also like finish off a weak character with your triple slash, but basically this is like a full pure support build for her. And so yeah, she can really be filled into a lot of different slots in your team as the damage dealer, the pure support, the half and half, the sleeper, the dot spammer, all of that kind of stuff. She can kind of play a little bit of every single one of those roles. And notably, she is very good at a lot of those roles. It's not like she's like giving up a bunch of stuff. She's definitely not like the best executioner in the Seekers. She's definitely not like the best debuffer in the game, but she is very, very good at like each of those things, whatever you need her to do. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this guide. I hope it helped you out. I hope you learned something. I hope you feel a little bit more knowledgeable about her character and her kit, whether you have her or you're playing against her. And until next time, I have been Dream. Please stay safe, stay cute, much love, a boo, a yeah.